I just added up. I just added. I just added up. I just added up the ages and tried to do my best to accurately portray my family's ages. I don't think my sister's quite 60 yet, but she must be getting close. Very, very close to 60 or just there. My brother must be in his 50s or past 50 by now. My father is 88, turning 89. Or he might have just turned 89. My mother died at 63, or a little after 63. I am now 32. And my voice is getting more girly and more. I just can't stand it. It just comes across awful sounding. It pisses people off, including me. When I say something important and then I play it back to myself, the information is fine, but the voice just pisses me off because the voice is what throws people off. And then if I'm hyper or if I have anxiety, forget it. Now they think I'm bipolar because I have a funny voice, I'm speaking real fast, and I look like I'm worried as fuck. I look like I'm hyped up and then I'm going down and hype because I'm talking down stories. I'm talking about how my mother hurt me and how I need treatment. But who am I telling this to? People like my primary care, but there's a problem. They're not listening. They're just looking at my behavior and going, okay, fast talking. He's talking about somebody hurting him. He has a funny voice and he sounds all uptight and worried. But it's very simple. Just ask me. I'm smart enough to understand what's going on there. I have a funny voice. I'm anxious. I'm having anxiety. I also get PTSD with the doctors and hospitals because they've hurt me before. And I'm explaining what's wrong with me and how we need to get me better. But if you don't listen and you try to go, treat me based upon my mothers and fathers, then you'll go bipolar. Funny voice must mean bipolar. And he looks, he's rambling on and he's hyper, he's talkative, and he's making no sense. But that's because you're making no attempt to follow me, and I'm going too fast for you because you're not giving me time. If you're only going to give me 15 minutes every 6 months, and we have to go over everything well, not everything, we have to go over what's wrong with me and what we need to do. But when they ask, okay, when did it start? What's wrong with you? Then when I give those answers, they go, okay, now we need evidence to support that, and we need to know about this. And then it takes about 20 years just to get me a medication. If I go slow, I got to give them lots of information. But it's just, the truth is, this isn't the way you do it. Dumping this on me trying to take care of my mother's lies and manipulations on my medical file and having to explain to the doctors that all my records are fraudulent and don't use them, and we go in these circles and it drives me nuts, and then I get anxiety, and then because of anxiety I'm talking real fast like I am now, and then they don't understand, and I'm like, I have to go back for the same thing 3 times in the same year, and I'm like, okay, please understand, I had a fall, a seizure, head injury. We need to get me this medicine. Why? Because of this, this, and this. Okay, now we need to do this and that and that and that. And then I go nuts in a circle again. And they're like, okay, we don't have any information on this. We need to get background information on this. Where is it? Okay, go get that. I can't get that for this reason. Before they know it, all they see is a kid with extreme anxiety getting injured. Now he's angry because you're going in circles with him. And also, when the doctors play games with him or do illegal activity, well, like some of what Frisbee's been doing with a lot of the homeless community, or when you treat him less than human, of course he's going to get upset. So now he's upset, but then you're going to call that an illness, so then you go, oh, why don't we stop doing this to me before I lose my fucking mind? All I need is epilepsy medication. How hard is it to get a diagnosis because my mother hurt me and get epilepsy medication? Then I don't need to be anxious anymore. That takes that out, and I can take it slow speaking with the doctors. Then they won't think it's a mental illness. But the problem is, I'm speaking to Ted from social services a lot about this, everybody. And they're probably like, why? Shouldn't he be speaking to a therapist? No, the therapist comes after it's been established. I can tell a therapist until I'm blue in the face, he's not going to clear out my medical records, and he's not going to fix this. The people that prescribe epilepsy medication, the primary care, and everybody that needs to know this. And plus, I have gone to therapy for years. And I've told them how my mother did lying about me, stuff like that. And you know what they did? Can't you just let the lies go? My mother's making up stories about me to you, Doc. And then you're writing them down as like gospel. Do you understand how that might hurt me if you're medicating me? Do people not understand the dangers of a mother slipping you pills that are prescription and not prescribed? And you're also being prescribed massive amounts of drugs on top of that. And we're not talking about a couple like most children. We're talking about 7 sometimes within the day. Yes, at one point I was taking 7 prescription pills and at least 6 of them I did not need. Yes, 6 of them were prescribed because my mother was going nuts. They just didn't want me hyper. But the anxious, PTSD, I always have that at the doctor's office. So when I'm at work, I'm just hyper and I'm doing lots of work, but I'm pretty good. But like when I'm at the doctor's office or when I'm at home, I do a wonderful job. But if you're going to trigger my anxiety, my PTSD, and then make me explain to you what's wrong with me, it's difficult to do that. And the doctors don't know what to make of it with the medical records my mother and father have provided to cover it up. And it drives me insane. It gives me anxiety, PTSD, because if these doctors do not understand what's going on here, if they cannot figure it out in 15 minutes, then I'm going to continue getting hurt. And what happens? Of course, I continue getting hurt. So then I got to try to explain this in 15 minutes over and over and over and over in different states and in different towns. And they keep on pushing me off the grid and I get hurt here. They malpractice me here. They mistreat me here. They malpractice me here. All because of fake medical records that my mother and father provided and a Social Security scam. Well, my mother was the one doing it all. My father, he just went along with it. So as far as he's concerned, it wasn't a scam. But my mother knew what she was doing was wrong. She knew she was lying. She knew she was manipulating. She knew slipping me pills was bad. And it's not like she told her husband, my father, when she was slipping me pills. She would just slip me pills and then she would baby me and pretend like she was getting me better. Called Munchausen syndrome.